So we're going to look at kindergarten, and that's going to be our first grade that we're going to go over. So the progression of addition and subtraction is going to be our overall topic. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So these are not the best hearts I've done, but we have 10 hearts. So I went ahead and I numbered them from 0 to 10. So what is the purpose of this? So students in kindergarten, they actually count objects in sets. So they're able to count from 0 to 10, and they're also able to count from 10 to 0. And this shows that they can count backwards. So not only can they count forwards, but they can also count backwards. Now it's important to remember that you should not integrate anything that's not a number. That way the kids will not get confused. So here we have 2 toasts. This is for our next example. So in one toast, we're going to poke 5 holes. And in our next toast, we're going to poke 8 holes. So now we have 5 and 8. So 5 holes in one toast and 8 holes in the other toast. So initially what happens is students know how or learn how to join the sets. So 5 and 8 more is 13, and 5 plus 8 equals 13. So there we go. That's a visual representation of that. So next, we're going to go ahead and move on to 5 frames. So here we have 2 frames of 5. In one frame, we're going to put 4, and in the other frame, we're going to put 2. So we're going to do, in this case, we could do lollipops. So after putting 4 lollipops on one side and 2 lollipops on the other 5 frame, you're going to go ahead and you're going to try to fill up the 5 frame if possible. So in this case, you can. So you're going to put one of the 2 into the 5 frame with only 4 to make it 5. So you're going to fill up the entire row, leaving 5 on one 5 frame and 1 on another 5 frame. So it's going to give us 5 plus 1, which equals 6. So 4 plus 2 is equal to 5 plus 1, and they are both equivalent because they are both the same. They both result in what? 6. So next we're going to move on to subtracting. We're going to do 5 minus 2. So here is a model of 5 yellow bears and 2 pink bears. So this is a model to help the kids compare. So to compare the two numbers 5 and 2. So we can do a simple way to just answer this. It's you could cancel out the bears. So in this case, the pairs. So that's going to give us 3. So the answer would be 3. So now our next example is going to be something else that kindergartners also learn. So this is to learn addition once again. So this example is, it's a visual chart, a visual model of 10 butterflies. So I think you can consider it a 10 frame. So you see a full frame of 10 filled up with butterflies, and you have 5 more on the side. So that gives us the equation 10 plus 5. So 10 inside, 5 more on the side, which gives us 15. That gives us 15. And this method is called unitizing. Now, in first grade is when you learn how to fill up a frame. So we're going to draw 2 frames of 10. And we're going to fill them up with random numbers. So I'm going to fill up one frame with 7. I'm going to fill up the other frame with 6. And they're both going to have leftover spaces. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and grab some from this side, and we're going to go ahead and fill them into this side. So we're going to move them here. So here is a visual to show where I moved those units. In this case, we're doing counters. So that's where I moved 3 counters, and I filled up a 10 frame. So what does this exactly transfer to? What does this exactly translate to? So here is a visual to show what it translates to. So here we have 10. So we filled up a frame, and 3 in this frame. So this can be seen by students as 10 plus 3. So now the question is, can we use double digits? Yes. So for first grade, that's when you're going to start using double digits. So for instance, we could use the numbers 44 plus 9. So we're going to go ahead and visually draw them. So to visually represent them, we have to draw a model. So here we have the 40 plus 9. So we made groups of 10. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40 plus the 4 1 units and then plus the 9 1 units. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to make another group of 10 if possible. So then now that we have another group of 10, that means we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So that's why I did a 50 on this side right here. So that means that now we have 3 left over, which means that this 44 plus 9 is equivalent to 50 plus 3, which gives us 53. So how do we use this method in subtraction? So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's very similar. You just need a little bit of less steps. Or actually, it's about the same amount of steps, but it is just a little bit different. It's not that different. But I'm going to go ahead and draw out the tenths once again. So we're going to go ahead and draw 44 tenths because we're going to do 44 minus 30. I'm sorry, I meant to say we're going to do 4 tenths because we're doing 44 minus 30. And we're going to take away 3 tenths. So we're going to take away 30. And now that leaves us with 14, which is our answer. So now we're going to move on to second grade. When we teach second grade, this is where we're going to start using the 2-digit numbers. So it's going to be two 2-digit numbers. So in the first one, it was only one digit number and plus a 2-digit number. This time it's going to be 2-digit plus 2-digit or 2-digit minus 2-digit. So the first example, I did 36 plus 28, meaning we would have to draw 3 tenths plus the 6 ones, and then to represent the 28 is 2 tenths plus 8 ones. So 10, 20, 30, and then the 6, and then 10, 20, and then the 8. So to break this down, this is what you are supposed to be able to do in second grade. So to break it down, you would, first of all, make sure that you can make another group of 10. So that's what I did right here. I made sure to make another group of 10 because I was able to. And I was left with 4 on the side. So this means that now we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I can easily do this in my head, but a second grader cannot. So they would have to break it down. So we do have 36 plus 28 right here. So if you do 6 plus 8, that's 14. And if you do the 30 plus the 20, that's going to give you 50. So you're going to get 64. Now, 50 plus 14 is going to give you 64. But to break this down even further, you can do 50 plus 10 plus 4 to get 64. And that's how you break it down. And this is called partial sums, which leads to the understanding of partial products. Now, I know that this side is just a little bit messy, but bear with me because I made a couple of mistakes, but then I went ahead and I fixed them. So that just comes to show that even me, I'm making mistakes, and this should be something simple, but mistakes are okay. All right, so what I did here is 62 minus 48. So I drew 6 groups of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 ones for that represents the 2. So then we're gonna have to take away 48, meaning 4 tenths, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 ones. So we're gonna have to do here is we're going to have to group. So it's basically like kind of like when you subtract up and down, you do have to regroup. So that's basically what we're going to do here, but we're going to borrow from this 10 right here. We're going to break it down into tens, right? And here we drew the circle, which is to separate, and we're going to pile 48 in here. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, and we did these 4 on to this circle in here. And we broke down this 5th one into 10 because we only need 6 from here because we already have 2 right here. So we only need 8 in here. So that leaves us with 4. That means we have 14 left. So our answer, 62 minus 48, is 14. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. I'm right. 14. So we're going to put 14 right there. And you can also use this regrouping method for larger numbers too. So this is what I showed down here. So we went ahead and did 3 100s, so to represent the 300. We did 4 10s to represent the 40, and 8 ones to represent the ones, so the 8. And in here, we have to put 225. So we're going to put 2 100s, which I crossed out on this side. We're going to take away 2 10s, which I crossed out on this side. And we're going to go ahead and take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones, which I took away from the 8, leaving us with 123. So to break it down, we have 300 plus 40 plus 8 minus 200 plus 20 plus 5. And that leaves us with 100 plus 20 plus 3. So moving on to the last and final grades, 3rd and 4th grade. This is the more in-depth or harder, quote unquote, harder type of grouping. So we have like per se the number 2,721 minus 1,831. So you will have to regroup, and that gives us 890 after regrouping everything. So to make this easier, you break down the numbers. So 2,000 plus 700 plus 20 plus 1 minus 1,000 plus 800 plus 30 plus 1, which means 1 minus 1 is 0. So 20 minus 30, you cannot do that. So you're going to have to regroup. So you're going to take away 1 from here, 100. So that leaves you with 600. So then you put 120 minus 30 is 90. So now we have 600 minus 800. You cannot do that. So we're going to have to borrow from here. So it's going to make it 1,000 up here. And this is going to have a 1 that we're borrowing. So we're borrowing 1,000. So that makes it 1,600 minus 800. That leaves us with 800. So now to break it down, we put 800 plus 90 plus 0. Because remember, this is 0. So yeah, so it's going to be 890. So that's how you would do it if you were in 3rd and 4th grade. So that's how you would regroup. And that's all I have for today.